All righty, our last break of the night. Again, thank you all so much for joining us. Andrew, how are you, buddy? Thank you all so much for joining us over here on the website. We'll be back over on eBay Live tomorrow night. Full slate of breaks on eBay this weekend. And we did put up another Pro Debut on the website. We'll put up some more stuff tomorrow, too. Some more update and such. So check it out. But as usual, thank you so much, guys, for going to the website. Every little bit helps. We got the 2025 Topps Update Quarter Hobby Case Break. Pick your team break number 301 we're doing right now. Let's go over the teams. D-backs, Robert H. Braves, Edward K. Orioles, Jim D. Red Sox, Edward K. Cubs, Bill R. White Sox, Lou B. Reds, Jim D. Guardians, Lou B. Rockies, Robert H. Tigers, Lou B. Royals, Doug P. Astros, Andrew P. Angels, Robert S. Dodgers, Andrew P. Brewers, Chris H. Twins, Chris F. Marlins, Lou B. Mets, Rich L. Yankees, Jason C. A's, Andrew P. Phillies and Pirates, Doug P. Cardinals, Jay Thompson. Padres and Giants, Robert H. Mariners, Doug P. Rays, Stephen K. Rangers, Robert H. Blue Jays, Jordan B. And the Nationals is Doug P. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Do it to it. Good luck, everybody. It's fun being over here on the website, on the YouTube. Like old days, Bobby S. Robert S. Oh, I'm sorry, Angels. Robert S. Angels. Is that who you're supposed to have? Angels? Did I write that down wrong? Okay, that's right. Okay. Got me nervous there for a second. Like, wait a second, what did I do? I'm not perfect. I dare to say I've made a mistake or two in the past. I wouldn't want to do it again. All right, let's fix that camera. I don't want to change anything. All right. All right, good luck, everybody. Let's do it. Cam Smith on the Night Terrors rookie for the Astros, and Tatis All-Star. Hanging in, man. You know, same old. Just trying to, you know, living life. I'm doing all right. How you been? All right? How you feeling? Things getting back to normal for you? Matt Shaw, rookie throwback. It still feels the same. Same good or same bad? Would it, like before you had the surgery, or just things are better and staying better? Zach Agnos for the Rockies. 1,005 of 2025 for Robert. And Jazz All-Star. Better than before. That's good. All right. Well, it's good to hear, man. Leg is, oh, is it? Really? And now, did you have that problem before the surgery, or is it since the surgery? I know nerves can get screwed up during that stuff. Andy Pettit, first pitch for the Yanks. Before. Gotcha. Back surgery's weird, man. I know we've talked about it before. I mean, I know a lot of people have had back surgery, especially, being a chef. I mean, and some people it did wonders for, and some people were worse afterwards. And Cubs team card rainbow foil. Oh, yeah? Tomorrow's a year? Wow. I don't know if I ever told you this story before, but when I was 16... my mother had terrible back problems. I mean, she couldn't walk. I mean, she was, and she was slated to have surgery. Now, believe me, I'm not one of these people. I understand injuries. I was a restaurant chef for 25 years. Believe me, I'm beat to hell, But, you get a lot of people say, a lot of back problems are in the mind and so on and so forth. Ernie Banks, throwback. So anyway, Judge, All-Star. So my mother was slated to have back surgery. I don't remember. Again, this was 35 years ago or even 40 years ago. I don't even remember exactly what she had. Blown disc, something or other, And I got extremely sick and landed in the hospital and almost died when I was 16. I had this infection that spread into my brain. It was a mess. And I was hospitalized for like 3 months. And, it took over my mother's life. And after that, she was so preoccupied with what was going on with me that, she started forgetting about her back. She never ended up having surgery on her back. She was fine after that. And believe me, I know it's not all in people's minds, but in my mother's case, it was. She was a nutcase. And me getting sick, literally. And I remember her saying, years later, my illness cured her back problems because, she had to think about me instead of her back, and look, Howard Stern's talked about that Sarnoff guy, that Dr. Sarnoff or whatever. He does that whole thing about how back problems are, mostly in your mind and whatever. And like I said, injuries are injuries. They're not all that way, 90 of 150, Danny Jansen for Tampa Bay for Steven. And Baez on the All-Star. But in her case, it definitely was. So, my suffering at least cured my mother's back issues for her. I was a mess, man. Oh. It's funny. I was my sophomore year of high school. It's really kind of a crazy story. I was my sophomore year of high school, and I had mono. And I had been sick for months, and my mother kept getting me tested. Now, you got to remember, this is 1980, Marcelo Mayer throwback, 87, I guess, something like that. And I had been sick since school started, just couldn't shake it. My mother kept taking me to the doctor, and she's like, it's mono, I'm telling you, it's mono. My mother was a nurse. And they would test me, and I wouldn't test positive or whatever back then. I don't know how they did things back then. And finally, in the first week of November, I went in, they tested me again, and they called and said, yeah, he's got mono. And my mother pulled me out of school because my older sister, Shannon, who's 3 years older than me, she had mono in high school a couple of years before, and it was really bad. She was home for months when she had it, right? So, Bobby Witt, Bleacher Reachers, and Pete Alonso, All-Star Game. So, I was a sophomore. My sister had just started college, and she called me and said, oh, you'll never be as sick as I was, blah, blah, blah. Because my sister missed, her whole, sophomore or junior year, basically, with mono. It was really bad. And then, 3 weeks later, I landed in the hospital. And I was hospitalized for almost 3 months and almost died. There's a nice one for the Phils. Mick Abel, rookie auto. He's got the Phillies. Doug. Some serious potential in this kid. Nice hit. And I was so sick. And oddly, what happened to me, it didn't have anything to do with the mono. It was, I got this infection in all the lymph nodes in the one side of my neck, and it spread into my brain. It was a mess. But in the end, they said it never really had anything, like the mono didn't cause it or anything. It was just something else that I had. And my poor sister, like, she couldn't even come visit me in the hospital. She was so upset because she thought, like, her teasing me that I'd never be as sick as her, like, put me there. But the crazy part was when I had this Max Muncy throwback, I was so sick. I mean, they had me, and again, like I said, this was in the 80s, but they had me up on the geriatric floor in a private room. I mean, they thought I was a done, you know? I mean, like, they weren't giving me a lot of chance. Because what was happening is my neck, I looked like the Elephant Man. Like, my neck was swollen, like, huge. And it was cutting off blood to my brain. It was cutting off my carotid artery. And I had doctors from, like, all over the world coming to see me. It was crazy, the whole thing. Gio for the A's. And Mackenzie Gore, All-Star. And this woman, I'll never forget, this Indian woman came from Michigan, University of Michigan. She was an internal medicine specialist. And look, I had IVs in my feet, in my hands. They were pumping every drug in the world into me to try and figure out how to get this to stop, you know, because it was just slowly killing me, you know. And again, I was like 16 years old at the time. And I was so whacked, you know, from the drugs and from the mono and everything else. I didn't even know what was going on half the time, you know. Roy Campanella, 55 MVP. So this woman comes from Michigan to see me because, again, people were talking about this case, like of this kid who can't get better. And look, I don't know that this was why it happened, but she was talking to the nurses, and I remember her talking to them, and she said, has anyone tried putting heat on it, like putting a hot pack on it? Because basically, when you get an infection, if you've had one before, it's basically they need it to abscess. They need it to turn into a big zit and drain, you know, because it was like solid as a rock. And they were like, no. So she slapped a heating pad around my neck. And I remember the next day I woke up. And I was like, wow, I felt this irritation on my neck. And I said something to the nurse. Chase Dolander throwback. And I guess Stephen Kwan All-Star, whatever. I don't know if it was the heat or a combination of the heat, the medication, but the thing abscessed. And next thing I knew, they were rushing me into surgery and doing all this craziness. And I remember the doctor telling me like a month later, he's like, your neck literally looked like a huge pimple. Like there was like a whitehead on it that we cut open and just all this crap came out. And I was home like 2 days later. Like after spending almost 3 months in the hospital and almost dying, I was home like a day and a half later. So crazy. Joe Boyd to 2025 for Tampa. And to 250, Antonio Senzatella for the Rockies. You know, like it was just... And later, afterwards, well, I had to, it's funny because even now at 52, I have this huge scar on my neck. And, you know, from that surgery from years ago. Rockies is Robert. And Tampa is Steven. They had to keep it open and, like, put drains and stuff in. And it was a mess. I ended up having to go to, like, do interviews with people for journal articles and all kinds of, it's so strange, the whole thing. But like, just like that overnight, like in one day, I was fine, you know, like, oh, he's going to die. And all of a sudden I was like, no, we got it. So that was probably the most interesting story from my youth. And because of that, my mother's back never hurt again. It's so funny. That's unfortunately when I was first learned about painkillers, which would later in my life turn out to be a bad thing because I was in so much pain. I mean, again, imagine like your neck is like 5 times swollen, you know, and you know, I was a kid. I was 15 or whatever, 15 turning 16, and I didn't like needles, and I didn't like, you know, but I had never been hospitalized before or anything, you know. And my mother was a nurse, you know, and they prescribed me pain medication. Jeff Bagwell, throwback. And I had two things, Junior Caminero. One was like a liquid. It was like Tylenol with codeine, right? That was a liquid. And the other was Demerol, shots. And I heard shots, and I was just like, nah, that's okay. I said, let me have the Tylenol with codeine. And I took that, and my mother said to me, like repeatedly, take the Demerol. And I was like, no, this will be fine. And of course, I tried the Tylenol with codeine. It didn't work at all. And then she was like, no, I'm telling you, take the Demerol. And well, needless to say, that started a bad road for a while. She wasn't wrong. And I'll never forget when I went home, I could barely sit down because they used to give me the shots in my butt. And I had so many shots for months in my butt. Like, I could barely even sit in the car seat going home. Acuna Black Gold. For Edward. Yeah, that stuff is really strong. Believe me. Well, and that was the funny thing, again, because I had mono. Like, I didn't even know. Apparently, my mother was there, like, every day. Like, in the afternoon. And I don't ever remember being there because I was knocked out from the mono on top of all of it. Shane Smith's for the White Sox. Like, you know, on top of this infection and everything else, I was fighting the mono at the same time, so I was exhausted. So I was sleeping 18 hours a day. I would literally wake up long enough to get another shot of Demerol and then go back to sleep. Lou with the White Sox. And Ellie, All-Star. It's crazy what you can go through and survive. And I look back on that like it was another life. Man, I was in bad shape there for a little while. Tommy Seguano. There's another guy, Travis Janikowski. Like, he's been hanging around forever in the league. I swear, like, and he pops up every once in a while. Has a couple good weeks, and you hear his name again, and then you don't hear anything about him for like 2 years. Brian Salmons for the Tigers is Lou. Yeah, it was looking touch and go there for a little while. I got to be honest. I mean, I knew I was really sick, but I didn't really know how bad it was. I was so out of it. You know what I mean? Like, Buxton. I mean, I was scared from being sick, but I don't think I ever really thought about whether or not it was going to kill me when I was in there. Although apparently I was very close to being taken out. Like, I was so out of it. I didn't know what was going on half the time, you know. Adrian D. Castillo to 2025 for the D-backs, which maybe it's nice to be, you know, Logan Webb All-Star, to be a little naive at the time, you know. I haven't been sick many times in my life, but usually when I get sick, it's pretty severe. Like, I don't get like colds too often or stuff like that, but usually when things do happen, I end up hospitalized. My son is the same way. Like, it's funny when my son, there's a Nick Kurtz rookie. When my son was growing up, like, the doctor used to be amazed. I mean, we never went to the doctor except for his yearly checks, you know. Verlander MVP. Like, and the doc used to laugh. There was a point at like 8 years in a row at one point where the only time we were ever at the doctor was for his health checks, like his once-a-year checkups. And that was between like 8 and 16 or something. And he would be like, You're like the healthiest kid I have. But then when he did do something, it always landed him in the hospital. The few times he did. He got so sick, it was like way over the top, you know? Mason Fluharty for the Blue Jays, rookie. My son was sick one time when he was little, when he was maybe 8 or 9 years old. And I don't remember what this is called. Somebody out there might remember. He had this thing. It's basically like you can get a flu in your legs. I know it sounds strange if you've never seen it, and apparently it's pretty common in young boys. And my son was telling me he wasn't feeling well, and his legs were killing him. Like, he's just like, my legs hurt so bad. And all I did was make fun of him, thinking he was bullshitting, you know? Excuse my language. Steven Matz for the Cardinals. And he was like, Dad, you don't understand. Like, my leg. And he was like 8 years old or something like that. And I honestly thought he was just like, you know, like, I don't want to go to school. I'm sick. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like, you don't have a fever. You're not throwing up. You're not. And he's like, something's not right. My legs are killing me. He kept telling me. And I was like, so I said, all right, well, if you're going to stay home, you're going to have to go to the doctor. You know, Hank Aaron, Bleacher Reachers, and Schwaba, All-Star. And he was like, fine. And I was like, oh, man, maybe something's wrong. When he said, fine, I'll go to the doctor, you know. And I take him to the doctor, and we're in the parking lot. And he goes to get out of the car, and he can't walk. Like, he's like, my legs hurt so bad, I can't even walk. And again, I'm realizing something's going on, but I'm still kind of breaking his balls about it. You know, like, come on, dude, you can walk. And he's like, Dad, I'm telling you. So I carried him in. And I said to the doctor, I don't know. He just keeps telling me his legs are killing me. He goes, oh, yeah, this is really severe. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. And he explains this. It's literally, it's got a name. I can't remember what it's called because it was so many years ago. But it's literally like you get a flu in your muscles, in your legs. And boys tend to get it. Joey Votto throwback. And, of course, they had to hospitalize him over the whole thing. And I felt so bad because I'd been breaking this kid's balls for the last 2 days over him faking, you know, because I never heard anyone complain about their legs hurting so bad like that before, you know. And he ended up in the hospital for a couple days. They had to fill him full of drugs. And the doctor came that night to the hospital. And I was like, this is something real? He's like, oh, yeah. And he started explaining it to me. And I told him, I said, oh, what is this? Carson McCusker. Look at this thing. 5 of 5 red for the Twins. Chris F. Wow. That's our 3rd red we pulled tonight. I don't know how great the surface is on that, but that might just be the card. But red, 5 of 5 for the Twins rookie. Wow. Yeah, I had never heard of it either. And all I did was make fun of the poor kid. I felt horrible. Chris F, man, 5 of 5. Nice hit, my friend. It's not easy to hit a red in update, that's for sure. All right. A Rosarena All-Star Game. We had 2 reds in the same box, and then, you know, a pro debut to 5 earlier tonight. Kyle Tucker, Mystical for Chicago. La da dee 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 dee, la da da dee dee dee, la da dee doo, la da da dee dee doo. DeGrom All-Star. Corbin Burns throwback. Birthday wish. Oh, 48. Come on, you're a young man. I'd take those 5 years back. I'd do anything to get it. Yeah. It's turning a century, man. There were some rough years in there, man. You feel it, because you still got a ways to go. And, you're like, wow, I got to feel like this on the second half or on the downslide. That's not fun. Aaron Judge, Night Terrors for the Yanks. And Casey Mize, All-Star. Well, happy birthday, my friend. Box number 3. All right, box 3. Let's do it. Dylan Cruz throwback. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know anymore. I say yes, and then I get tied up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens that weekend. Tanner Gordon and Eugenio Suarez. I did go to the last one on Sunday for a couple hours. But I always plan to, of course, but, things happen, and especially with the business, I'm always working, so it's like, sometimes I'm like, I can't afford to spend the hours doing that when I got other stuff to do, But, yeah, I'm going to try, that's for sure. Bryce Harper, 2021 MVP. Yeah, you know what, Andrew, honestly, I didn't even know if I was going to make it. Like, it was kind of all right, come on, let's go. I wanted to go on Friday. My intention last time was to go on Friday, J-Rod throwback, and then, of course, something happened, as it always does. Matt Olson, All-Star. Like, some last-minute thing came up that I had to deal with. Because that would be the better day of the weekend for me to go, is, like, when it opens on Friday. But... 102 of 250, Matt Shaw, rookie debut for the Cubbies. For Bill. And Buxton, All-Star. Jackson Churio throwback. Tyler Owens for the Tigers. Why is that one so light? 1709 of 2025. Must have been running out of ink when they printed his. Tigers is Loop. Yeah, we have jumbos. We're doing them on this weekend on eBay. We have jumbos. We got blasters. We got hobbies. David Ortiz, Bleacher Reachers for the Red Sox. Paul Skeens, All-Star. Ooh, we got a thickie. It's a thickie. All right, let's see. Omar Ramirez, Sagassi, and Jared Trilio, and wow. Tristan, oh, wait a second. Tristan Cassis, Cedane Rafaela, dual patch auto. Numbered 1/1. Who's got the Red Sox? Edward. That is a 1/1 from Topps Update. That is a pull right there, my friend. Tristan Cassis, Cedane Rafael. Dude, we have been pulling monster stuff out of these hobby boxes. Crazy. That is a beautiful card, my friend. Edward, I don't know if you're here, buddy, but that thing is awesome. Wow. Nice. Congrats, my friend. Gotta find something to put that in. I'm telling you, man, last week we pulled that Chase Dollander, what was that, the 10, the patch auto, which is beautiful. We had an autograph to 5 last week, too. I forget who it was of. And then we had the Schwarber to 10 last week also, out of the first case we had. Wow, that's a good one. Congratulations. That wasn't your wish. I'm sorry. They heard your wish. They gave it to the wrong person. I apologize. Aaron Judge, 2021 MVP. Yeah, the patches are sweet. That card is awesome. Edgar Quero for the White Sox. Garrett Crochet, Red Sox, and Cal Raleigh All-Star. Just put that to shame. Still a nice pull, man. Look, I know that people love jumbos, but and again, you're talking to somebody who opens a lot of cards. Yes, there's more hits in jumbos, but, and I know this sounds crazy, but I tend to find better hits in hobbies than I do in jumbos. Like, I do. I pull a lot of like patch auto stuff out of the flagship stuff, like Update Series 2, Series 1. And it's one of the reasons why I do it. And really, if you get into the price of it, I mean, it's not necessarily, jumbos aren't necessarily a better value if you break down the price. But yeah, you get more hits, but it tends to be, I find, better hits in hobby boxes. That's why I always do them and usually do them first. But, again, that's just my opinion. I know some people disagree with me, but I don't know. I just generally find better hits. Look at that guy. There you go. Nice bleacher reacher for the Angels. Mike Trout. Yeah, they do. I mean, I realize you get one hit, and yes, sometimes you get shitty cases. Don't get me wrong, I get it. Believe me, I've sat through cases where you get 12 crappy relics, you know. But I'll also say that I don't know if they're doing things different since Fanatics took over. I have not seen many of those in the flagship stuff in the last 2 years. Like, I feel like there's always a couple really nice hits in every hobby case. I'm sure somebody can prove me wrong partially on that or whatever, but I haven't seen it like where it's just, you know, 12 bad Major League Material hits, you know. And it's been that way in the past. Vladdy, Night Terrors, Stephen Kwan. But I just feel like the bigger hits, the stuff like that tends to come from hobbies more than it does from jumbos. And it's one of the reasons why I like doing them. Look, I know there are guys out there who won't break hobbies. They'll only break jumbos, you know. No, the trout's not numbered. It's those, this one? No, the fuchsia or whatever color they're calling that. Those aren't numbered. Purple. It's not purple. It's like lavender or fuchsia or something like that. Drake Baldwin, Rookie of the Year throwback. Hey, Chris, I know you're working, but you might want to hang around for the hit recap, my friend. Freddie Freeman, All-Star. All right. Oh, silver pack action. Good luck, everybody. All right. Dalton Rushing, Verlander, Tatis, and Goldie. This one here, this one we're ending right now. Might just want to wait for a few minutes and watch the hit recap. Kowser, Clemens, Cuero, and Blauba. E.J. Blauba. We're due on a silver pack, man. They should give us something. We haven't had a good silver pack hit yet. Harrington, Cameron, Smith. We still haven't had one. Jerome Walton, 26 of 75 for the Cubbies. For a bill. All right. All right, kiddos. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. You guys know you're the best. I really appreciate it. As I said, we did get some more stuff up. I'm going to try to put some more stuff up on the website tonight. So keep an eye out. Grab a spot. When it fills, we'll break it. But just as usual, thank you so much for going to the website and supporting us. And, hey, you know, some of you guys who only come to the website, you could come and visit me on eBay Live. It's not that bad over there. I know you don't like to, but come see me on eBay Live, man. Things are not horrible over there. Oh, you're not donating to me, my friend. You're donating to Tops. I don't get this stuff for free. All right. You know, that is the first relic we've had from this case. We've had all autographs from this case until that. It's hard to call that a relic, but there is a relic on it. Yeah, well, if you've noticed, I haven't had the tunes for the last week or so. eBay's cracking down on us. I have to buy Well, I'm trying to find out if I can buy a license by the... oh, what the hell do you call it now? I can't think of the name all of a sudden. The music license, which I will buy. It's like $400, but I'm still waiting to hear back from eBay if they'll allow that or not. All right, hit recap for 2025 Topps Update. Pick your team break number 301. Silver pack stuff we'll go through. We'll pull all the rookies and make sure they get taken care of. There's a ton of stuff here. Really? Huh. I don't know why. I mean, honestly, in the beginning, I know there were some issues, but I haven't had hardly any issues. Every once in a while, but nothing too crazy. All right, so a lot of all-star game and such. We'll go through these and pull out the rookies and stars and make sure they're taken care of. I mean, I don't get many complaints of it anymore. We did in the beginning, but it hasn't been too bad for a while now. All right, Black Gold of Trout and Acuna. Night Terrors of Vladdy and Cam Smith. Bleacher Reachers Bobby Witt. Rainbow Foils of Gio. Simons, Steven Matz. Tanner Gordon, Edgar Quero, and Cubbies. Bleacher Reachers on the Lavender, Mike Trout. To 2025, Zach Agnos, Tyler Owens for Detroit, Adrian Del Castillo for the Diamondbacks, and Joe Boyle for Tampa Bay. From the Silver Packs to 75, Jerome Walton for the Cubs. Matt Shaw also for the Cubs to 250. For the Twins, Carson McCusker to 5. Numbered 5 of 5, which is a really tough pull out of update. Full Hardy for the Blue Jays, Senzatella to 250 for the Rockies, Danny Jansen to 150 for Tampa. Shane Smith auto for the White Sox, a nice McAble for the Phillies, and this guy for the Boston Red Sox, Tristan Cassis, Cedane Raphael, 1 of 1 dual patch auto. Not too shabby. That is a Major League Material 1 of 1. I don't think I've ever seen a Major League Material 1 of 1 before, so not in a duel. So that is a very, very cool card going to Edward and the Red Sox. Congratulations on that one. All right, guys, it's been fun hanging out all night, and hopefully we'll do it again soon. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and I'll talk to you again later. Bye.